Hi friends, Michelle here with another video. And today I wanted to come on here just to talk to you a little bit about a book that I recently started to read, got really invested in very quickly, and then got equally as disinterested in as quickly. And I found myself asking, what the hell did I just actually read here? So the book I'm talking about is Anne Rice, The Wolf Gift. This is only one of two, a duology that she wrote about werewolves. And so I thought, hey, this sounds really interesting. I'd previously have read and loved her other books. I have loved Interview with the Vampire Lestat, The Mummy, and one of my favorite vampire books of all time, which is The Queen of the Damned. So I had high expectations going in with this book. That said, I also have been in a bit of a reading slump lately, so I was looking for something that would just grab me and hook me in right away. And I thought, yeah, this book is totally doing that. I actually posted about it here on my channel because I was so excited. I thought, this is fantastic. We start off and we meet a character named Reuben. Reuben is about 23 years old and he lives in California. He's got family, a mother and father who also live there, as well as a brother who is a Catholic priest. His mother's a doctor, a very accomplished science research doctor. And then his dad, I forget exactly what his dad does for a living, but Reuben himself is a journalist. When we first meet him at the start of the book, he is taking a tour of this enormous Gothic Victorian mansion that overlooks the ocean and has a very interesting history. The lady that's walking him through the mansion, it's her family's mansion, the Nidek family, and their history is very interesting. And she inherited this place from her Uncle Felix, I believe. And so Reuben, our main character, he's a journalist and he's writing a story about this place because she's putting it up for sale and, just wants to generate some publicity around this fabled mansion that's also borders a redwood forest, I believe, in California. So yeah, it sounds absolutely stunning. The descriptions of the mansion itself are fantastic, true to Anne Rice's style of writing, that she gives you really great descriptions and details without dwelling on it for too long. So you get really invested really fast. I could see everything they were seeing as they're walking through this place, all the rooms, the draperies, the big fireplaces, the oak burning fireplaces, the wall sconces, the candles, everything was so well described in here. The lady, her name is Marchant, the lady that's touring Reuben through this place. And as they're walking through and talking and, taking in the atmosphere of the mansion, they're kind of developing a bit of an attraction to each other. She's a little bit older than him. I think she's in her early 40s and he's 23. So yeah, but he's very attracted to her for some reason. He can't even describe really his feelings. It's just the whole, her looks as well as her personality that's drawing him in for some reason. So there's that intrigue. Eventually they spend the afternoon going through the house and she decides to have him stay for dinner. So they have a candlelight dinner. One thing leads to another. Reuben, however, is not single. He has a fiancée named Celeste, who is a lawyer, I believe. So he's getting texts from her while he's in this house with this woman throughout the day and texting back and forth. But anyway, one thing leads to another. He gets wrapped up with this Marchant woman. And after dinner, things, they drink some wine and things take a romantic turn. He ends up in her bed. So, they sleep together. And then a few hours later, he gets up and he finds her down in the kitchen. She is on the phone in her office doing some kind of business. He can't really figure out what she's doing, but he's just kind of hanging back and watching her because he's kind of in awe of her beauty, and he's kind of in shock of what just happened between them. And I can't believe I just cheated on my fiance. When all of a sudden, some intruders break in. They attack Marchant, this woman. They start, I believe, stabbing her. And Reuben is just standing there in shock. And then a few seconds later, this beast, this hairy wolf beast, breaks in, kills the two intruders, and attacks Reuben. Reuben gets bitten in the neck or on the face or something by one of the wolf creatures, and he goes unconscious. So this all happens in the first few chapters of the book. So this is not spoiler territory. Anyways, so Marchant, this woman that he found himself falling in love with in one night after their one night stand, has been murdered. He wakes up in the hospital. His fiance is at his bedside. His parents are there, his brother. They're all worried about him, and he doesn't really remember what happened. He's trying to cooperate with the police investigation and give them details of the intruders. He finds out that the men who broke in and killed Marchant were actually members of her own family. They were after the estate, trying to inherit her inheritance from her uncle, the mansion and all the money, but they ended up getting killed by a werewolf. So anyhow, they're out of the picture. And then he finds out that the business she was doing in her office when they got attacked was that she was signing over her will and the mansion completely to Reuben. She knew how much he loved the place when they were touring around in there. She felt an affinity to him and instant attraction, so she decided on a whim to sign the place over to Reuben. So he's inherited this enormous, beautiful mansion, and he doesn't know what to make of it. So anyway, and I have to say, the love scenes in here between Reuben and this Marchant woman were one thing, but then a couple chapters later, he encounters another woman, this Laura woman, who also happens to live near a forest in a house in the middle of nowhere. He develops an insta-love relationship with this woman. He starts to also, one night in a full moon, develop wolfman qualities. He turns into a wolf. He develops muscles and a taste for blood and hair all over his body and wolf features, and yeah. So during this insta-love episode, he actually gets physical with this Laura woman, and the descriptions of that is what sent me on this spiral of, this is way too much. I can no longer continue reading this book. I can get behind a werewolf story. I can get behind a fantastical fantasy story, you know, murders, bloodshed, that kind of thing doesn't bother me. I was on board with this book until things took a physical turn with the love scenes and the insta love that happened. Let me just read for you a passage here. This is Reuben now in his wolfman identity with this Laura woman that he's met. He turned and bent to kiss Laura again, fearing to hurt her as he held her face gently, very gently, with his paws. With his paws. And it gets worse. This character of Laura actually goes so far as to say that she actually prefers making love with this guy when he's in wolf form as opposed to when he's in human form. I have a big problem with that. And there's so many hokey lines like that talk about his little black wolf lips touching hers, and like, oh man, it gets bad, people. It gets really bad. So yeah, I couldn't help but look up the reviews of this book on Goodreads. I was curious. I had to know because honestly, like, this much of the beginning was fantastic. But once it started off with his, once he turned Wolfman and he started making love with this woman and like, he started killing people and I don't know, it just spiraled. And I wanted to know what other people thought of it. Turns out the ratings are very widespread. Some people gave it 5 stars, some people gave it 3, give it 4, 2. I mean, I'll post a little picture of it. But anyways, I don't even know what to rate this. I probably won't give it a rating at all. I couldn't handle it. Like, the love scenes were just too much for me. And the story itself, I mean, the love scenes are one thing, but then they incorporate his conversations with his Catholic priest brother. And he's questioning, am I turning into something evil? What the heck is happening to me? And I need your help. And, these like, the acceptance of everyone in his family, even his doctor mother, who is a science-based, logic-based person, you would think, is like, okay, well, my son is a wolf and I have to just find out what's going on with him. So I'm going to do more research. Like, there's no real element of shock among anybody. His fiance just kind of accepts that he cheated on her a couple times and oh well. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff happening. And even for Anne Rice standards, it's just, yeah, too far out there. So, I mean, this is a book I would recommend to, proceed at your own risk. If you're curious, definitely pick it up. You might get a good laugh out of it. Like, I could see this as satire, maybe, the second half of this book. But yeah, started off with a lot of promise and then it just lost me. Sorry, Anne Rice, may you rest in peace, but I way prefer her vampire novels to this one. I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys as both kind of a precautionary tale as well as like, you might want to read this. You might love this book. I have no idea what your appetite is for that kind of thing. But for me personally speaking, I just needed a little bit more plausibility and less of the gross, not bestiality, but like when Laura was going on how she prefers him as a wolf and that in the bedroom, like, yeah, that was too much. So let me know if you've read this in the comments. If you're going to pick this up, all my best to you. I hope you enjoy it more than I did. I don't even know what to make of this, but I'm still glad I tried it. It got me back out of my reading slump, that's for sure. So yeah, The Wolf Gift by Anne Rice. If you love this book, there's a sequel, Wolves of Midwinter, it's called. Just FYI. So yeah. Thank you for watching. I just had to share with you my painful experience of this. Painful because it started out fantastic and then, like I said, quickly went downhill. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.